Hi, good evening, and welcome back. And thanks for being here this time on the 27th day of September, a beautiful fall-like day in the neighborhood. High pressure, though, will soon give way to some unsettled conditions. That means clouds and showers. But we're still looking towards what hopes to be a pretty decent weather forecast. A bit cooler, but nice, especially considering it's the Apple Festival this weekend, as well as the Knott County Trail Ride and a lot of other fall fun things that I'm sure a lot of you are hoping to do. We'll outline your weather forecast in more detail in just a few moments. Headlines tonight will include a guilty verdict in the trial of Mayor Bob Porter of Paintsville. We'll have all the details in just a few moments. We'll also talk about an event or a meeting actually I sat in earlier today in regards to trying to link the downtown Sangersville area to the Dawkins Trail and other parts of the community via a walking and bike path, and it looks to be quite promising. We'll talk about the civic organization which has taken on that duty, a missing persons report from here in Sangersville, and other news and information. Before we get to local headlines, sadly, however, we have to report about not one but three fatalities on the Mountain Parkway in a 3-mile span since I was with you last. It all happened last night, and today, for the second day in a row, someone was pronounced dead, actually a couple, earlier today, the result of two tragic and fatal auto accidents on the Mountain Parkway last night. Authorities were called to near mile marker 22 in Powell County. Vehicles traveling in the westbound lanes were involved. An SUV and at least two other vehicles involved. One person died as a result of a two-vehicle crash. The road was shut down for several hours while investigators tried to determine the exact cause of the crash. They also did identify 30-year-old James Gilliam as the deceased, identified by the deputy coroner of Powell County. Several other individuals were also taken to area hospitals for their injuries. No word on their conditions as of right now. But just earlier today, and just 3 miles from that location, and near the 19-mile marker in Powell County near the Clay City exit, authorities called to another fatal auto accident. This is a single-vehicle crash. A classic car not equipped with seatbelts was involved. What we've been able to confirm right now at this time is that the coroner and authorities believe that a rear tire on a classic 1960 or so Chevy 2 may have blown out, caused the vehicle to go off the roadway over the embankment and then collide with the earthen embankment. We do believe it was there that a male driver and his female passenger were pronounced dead at the scene. We don't have their identities as of yet. It's still under investigation. I can tell you that in just a week's time in Powell County, these 3 deaths are in addition to another fatality in Powell County. A total of 4 people killed in auto crashes in Powell County in just the past 7 days, or a little less actually. Police say that they have found human remains, and now an Eastern Kentucky family is awaiting answers that they are fearing for the worst. Of course, Kentucky State Police say that they have made a discovery. A body was discovered and has since been sent to Frankfort for an identification in the Milo community of Martin County, which is also the same area that the family of William Scotty Fannin, have been searching for their lost loved one for the past many months. He hasn't been seen since December, was last seen actually walking in that same community, and authorities are going to determine if indeed that is Mr. Fannin or some other victim or individual. But as of right now, we're waiting official results from the state medical lab for the identification of that body and the possible cause of death. Here in Sangersville, we have some limited details with more to come about a man reported missing by his family, last seen on August the 28th, not seen since, even missing his father's funeral from what we've ascertained, and they're sending out this plea for help tonight. I've made contact with Mary Beth Standifer, who is gathering some other details and getting ready to pass them along. But the ones that I can share with you at this hour is that she hasn't seen her brother, Scott Standifer, since late August. And that's even through the passing and services that were held for their father. She says that Scott Standifer was last seen on August the 28th. Since then, she's contacted the Kentucky State Police. She has asked me to list their contact number as I have hers on screen. And she's hoping that someone may have seen or heard from him or have some details, a text message, a phone call, anything that you could pass along. They're hoping to find some sort of detail about his whereabouts in the past Well, it will be 1 month tomorrow that he was last seen. We'll have some more details at a later time as to where he was last seen and some other possible information to share with you. But at this hour, you're just simply asked to call the Kentucky State Police at 435-6069 or Scott Stanifer's sister, Mary Beth Stanifer, at 859-247-0791. We'll have details on Bob Porter of Paintsville, his guilty verdict for the mayor, just in a few moments after these messages. For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract, with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. The case against Paintsville Mayor Bob Porter goes back to December of 2015 when he was indicted alongside then co-defendants Paintsville Utilities Manager, former Paintsville Utilities Manager Larry Harold. A superseding indictment later handed down involving those two and Paintsville businessman Ulysses Crace. The trial for Porter himself, as the other two individuals were separated from the case, began last week on Tuesday as it was, and both the prosecution and defense rested rather early, from what we understand, on Friday afternoon, the defense only calling one character witness for Porter. Closing arguments began this morning, and a jury had the case in their hands just hours later and have since returned a verdict. Being found guilty of 3 of the 4 charges against him, Paintsville Mayor Robert Porter is the latest Eastern Kentucky official to be found guilty in federal court. A federal jury in London, Kentucky today convicted Porter on 2 of the 3 counts of theft of federal funds and 1 count of bribery. The jury returned the verdict after more than 3 hours of deliberation following about 4 days of trial and testimony. One of Porter's co-defendants, Larry Harold, the former general manager of the Paintsville Utilities Commission, had already previously pled guilty to lying to an FBI agent about his knowledge of Porter's delinquent utility bills. And evidence that was presented during the trial last week established that from 2009 until 2012, Porter, with the knowledge, approval, and assistance of Harold, didn't pay for utility services provided to 2 residences that Porter owned in Paintsville, a total in excess of $7,000. The evidence also revealed that Porter used thousands of dollars in city and federal funds to pay for personal expenses, such as maintenance and repairs on his personal automobiles, gasoline for personal trips, and shipping fees for personal items. Evidence at the trial also established that the mayor used a city-owned vehicle seized from a drug investigation by the Paintsville Police Department for personal trips. The investigation was conducted by the FBI and the Kentucky State Police, and of course Kerry B. Harvey, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Kentucky, as well as Howard Marshall, Special Agent in charge for the FBI, and others, all made the announcement this afternoon, saying that Porter was found guilty on counts 1, 2, and 4. His formal sentencing has been set for January the 12th. Each of the 3 charges that he was found guilty of carry a penalty of up to 10 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $250,000. As for the last remaining co-defendant, Ulysses Crace, he, of course, was released from the Federal Medical Center in Lexington back in August, and the status or condition of his mental and physical health evaluation has still yet to be released. More headlines in a moment. Right now, tonight's community calendar starts off with some good news. I'm not quite sure how it happened, only that we ran an announcement last night mentioning a lost dog in the Pigeon area of Johnston County. It was a pug. His name was Oscar, and that was we knew little else, but we understand that Oscar has been found injured, as I understand, but expected to make a full recovery. So instead of running that lost again, that will file, of course, in the found, and glad to hear it, Colin. We should thank everyone for their help in finding Oscar, whoever that may be. The other calendar announcements we have, and there are a few tonight, begin with the Sagersville Waterworks. They have a meeting set for Tuesday. They had a meeting set for this morning at 10 a.m. It has been rescheduled for this Friday at 10 a.m. That comes from the Sagersville Waterworks. And here are the following announcements. The rest of your calendar announcements brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. First off, a reminder about the flu clinic this Thursday at the Middle Fork Volunteer Fire Department. It's open to the entire community. If you have an insurance card or insurance policy, Bring the information with you and get your flu shot. No excuses. The Christmas in November Arts and Crafts Show at the Community Center in Sagersville is going to be held November the 4th and 5th. If you're interested, though, in setting up this year, you need to contact Director Susie Salyer, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 at 349-4409 or 2213. The deadline to do so is October the 28th. You have to have your form back in if you want to be a vendor during the show by the 28th of October. I just got word from our friends over at Kearney Free Will Baptist that they're picking and a grinning, and they're doing it this Saturday, which is also the first day of October. Anointed Hearts are going to be there and appearing, and Pastor Butch Whitaker and everyone from Kearney Free Will Baptist invites you to come and join them. The Lakefront Church of God is hosting their annual Fall Harvest Festival this Saturday. Man, it's a full-blown fall experience. Gospel music, a hog roast, a silent auction, prizes, crafts, carnival games. The list goes on. Bounce houses and horse rides and baked goods and everything you can imagine at the Lakefront Church of God this Saturday for their Harvest Festival. It's a little farther down the line, I guess, weekend after this, but I wanted to make note so you can make note to put it on your community calendar or on your calendar, should you so wish. A fish fry dinner at the South McGoffin Fire Department. That's Thursday the 6th of October at 6. It's also a $6 fee to eat in or carry out. A fish fry at the South McGoffin Volunteer Fire Department. They hope you'll join them. And another fish fry that I'll remind you about later on next week and a little thereafter, I guess, is a heavenly fish fry put together by the Ladies Fellowship group at the Burning Fork Community Church. Now, this is indeed heavenly, as they described it. It's a meal prepared by Delmer and Yvonne Gross out of London, Kentucky. They come, they fry the fish, and it's complete with hush puppies and fries and coleslaw and a delightful dessert, $10 per plate, and the funds will be used to assist the ladies and men's fellowship ministry outreach events. It's a heavenly fish fry, October the 7th. I'll file it on the calendar, remind you in a few days. Birthdays and anniversaries and announcements like these can be heard on the show as long as you get them to me any way you so choose, or by dropping them off here at the studio course, which is not on the screen, but it works just as well. Tell me, we'll tell everyone about it. Turning to funeral service announcements brought to you by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. We first have those in honor of 84-year-old Ina Blaine Piles of Oil Springs, who passed away on Saturday, formerly of McGoffin County. She was preceded to death by her husband, Merle Piles. She's survived by her son, Odell, and daughters, Anita Gail Harmon, Bobby Branham, Debbie Wright, and Diana Rice. Visitation continues this evening at the Jones and Preston Funeral Home, and services will be held in the morning at 11. That's beginning at 11 at the Oil Springs United Methodist Church. Burial will be at the Highland Memorial Park at Staffordsville. And 61-year-old Michael Gene Cole of Scott Avenue in Sagersville, preceded in death by his wife, Juanita Adams Cole, passed away. He is survived by brothers Robert and Lawrence Gray Cole and sisters Wobble Baldridge and Lena Reisner. Visitation is after 6 o'clock tomorrow, all day Thursday, and prior to Friday's services that are set to begin at 11, all from the Sagersville Funeral Home. A few years ago, when plans first broke about the widening of the Mountain Parkway and the expansion project that would bring it through the Restaurant Row area and beyond, there was also a great interest in seeing a bike and walking trail as a part of that project that would link the newly created Dawkins Trail. Reality is that planning for the Mountain Parkway expansion project began 20 years ago, and that revelation with the Dawkins Trail wasn't even, in the works as of that time. But that doesn't mean it's not a possibility, and in fact, it's possibly even a likelihood of such a project taking place. Infrastructure that would put in place a trail that may connect the downtown Sagersville area with the Dawkins Trail, maybe even a bike walking trail that would link other parts of the community as well, maybe around parts of the Licking River. It's all feasible and possible. After a meeting today between our local civic organization, being the Sagersville Renaissance Program, and a member of the Transportation Cabinet who was in hand to tout the programs that are out there and available should a local organization like Renaissance wish to work towards that end. In today's economy, many say that tourism is where it's at. Many say that tourism may be our only hope. Here in McGoffin County and in eastern Kentucky, including Johnson County, one of the latest boost to the potential of some big tourism bucks is the Dawkins Trail. Now imagine being able to get on your bike, maybe take a stroll from downtown Sagersville up to the Ivyton Trestle, for example, and get on the Dawkins Trail. Maybe imagine being able to have sidewalks and a walking path that would take you out of town and maybe all the way down to, say, North McGoffin Elementary for students and others to walk and enjoy. Maybe imagine having a sidewalk and more so a walking path for bicycles that would also go out of Sagersville, maybe up as far as 22 Mile Branch, maybe even further, for the enjoyment of many folks who walk that path quite often. It might not be as far-fetched or impossible as what you may think, and in fact, a man with the state was in Sagersville earlier today visiting with a motivated group, the Sagersville Renaissance Committee, in hopes of obtaining just that type of infrastructure in the downtown area.
My name's Troy Hearn. I live in Frankfort, Kentucky. Work for the Department of Transportation. I am the Bicycle and Pedestrian Program Coordinator for the Transportation Cabinet. What I do is try to promote bicycling and walking for the state, for each community in our state, to enhance what is already there. You have beautiful downtown Sayersville. It's very pretty, it's very quiet, very scenic, historic. Now you have the Dawkins line. It's only 4 or 5 miles from downtown Sayersville, but does the average citizen feel comfortable riding their bicycle from here to Royalton to the Dawkins line? If they don't feel comfortable riding their bike from here to there, what can we do to change that? Most communities think that, or they thought for many, many years, that the state or the federal highways or some other entity were doing everything in their best interest. Well, the emphasis for the last 50 years have been on cars, motorized travel. How do we get cars and trucks and freight, people inside of those cars and trucks, how do we get that from point A to point B as quickly and as efficiently and as safely as possible? Well, the emphasis is changing. The last 10 to 20 years, the emphasis has not only been on, we still want to get from point A to point B quickly and safely, but now I would also like to be able to walk from my house to the park. I want to be able to ride my bike if I want, as a mode of viable transportation.
And in addition to all of that, Renaissance would like to see that transportation turn into tourism dollars. And Hearn says that today's meeting is a step in that direction. And unlike almost any other project that's ever been discussed on the state level, money, he says, should not be an obstacle. There is funding in place for exactly what they're talking about. Now it's just a matter of devising a detailed plan, detailing exactly where the path would go, getting any interested parties or groups, landowners, organizations to be a part of the project, listing the assets like the Dawkins Trail, like the Licking River, and taking it to the state and saying, here, this is the best place to invest your money, taxpayer money.
It is completely possible, highly feasible, to do almost all of the things that you would have on your wish list. Hopefully this group will start the foundation for a master plan of what you want. Once they have a list of what they want, where they want it, what it's going to connect to, then you can see what's along that corridor. There's a couple of schools or there's some businesses. Now you get those folks involved. So now you've got more people and more champions involved with that. And then once you start to get all that in a document or on a big map, hopefully you can have maybe a citywide or a county-wide public meeting. So you start to identify that and you share that with everybody. And then hopefully some of those folks are like, hey, that sounds like a great idea. I'd love to do that, for my area.
I had to leave before Hearn's presentation and meeting with the Renaissance program was over, but I did speak with a couple of members afterwards and said that they were very pleased to hear the information, very pleased to know that there's funding out there, and they were very interested in getting this project off the ground. And in closing the show, we've got, I'll tell you about that in a second, where we're off to tonight and what we already have in the works for tomorrow. But with your Licking Valley RACC outlook, there's a cold front coming. I'll build to that slowly. 44 degrees tonight for nighttime lows, clear and patchy fog. That looks to be the conditions that we will see. We also expect to see the mid-70s tomorrow, 76 and 50, mostly sunny. This is where the changes start to come. Again, more fallish and definitely cool changes. We're talking about mostly sunny skies on your Wednesday. Some isolated showers to the tune of maybe 30%, maybe say between 1 and 3 by tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. More clouds and a better shot of some showers, increasing to the tune of 50%. That chance of showers will stay at right around 50 or 40 to 50 into your Thursday, with a chance of showers, maybe thunderstorms possible in the afternoon after 1. Otherwise, mostly cloudy on your Thursday, and still across the board Thursday into Thursday night, a lingering chance of some showers accompanying some mostly cloudy skies. That front will start to make its way out of here on Friday, leaving us with some more sunshine working its way back into the forecast. Check out the temperatures, 66, 49. Again, partly sunny, but still can't shake it completely. Still a 30% chance of some showers on your Friday, maybe even a thunderstorm or two possibly in the afternoon and early evening. I want to say late afternoon instead of early evening. That should start to wind it down. For your weekend, a 20% chance of some showers, otherwise partly sunny, and a high of 68. I think that 20% chance of showers Saturday might not really be an issue. I'm going to say we're in for a mostly dry weekend, upper 60s on Saturday, and then all chances of precipitation are out of here by Sunday with temperatures right around 74, maybe 75 degrees. Guess what? The 80s are around the corner thereafter. Monday, I see upper 70s, low 80s by Tuesday of next week. Well, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. The program actually taped a few hours earlier today in an effort for myself to make it to an appointment, so to speak, in another county. We do have a camera in this county tonight as the road meetings began at 5 o'clock and last until 7. We'll have a report on that tomorrow. While I'm in Johnson County, which is one of the 2 counties I'm headed to, I'll be picking up coverage of the Johnson County Board of Education meeting and some other things from there. So indeed, a long night and a full day ahead. We hope to see you then. Good night, and thanks for watching.